Hey everyone, and welcome back. It is time for the August TBR, and I am super excited because we're going to choose the TBR today using playing cards. And this is going to be a lot of fun. I love playing games and I love to read, so why not combine the two? For the purposes of this game, each suit is going to decide what type of genre we're going to select. So, for instance, if I get puppy's feet, it'll be historical fiction. If I draw a diamond, then that's going to be like fantasy, sci-fi, fairy tale retellings, paranormal, stuff like that. If I draw a heart, then that's going to be things like contemporary, literary fiction, or even a classic. And then if I draw a spade, then that is going to be mystery, thriller, suspense, things in that vein. Now, of course, within the deck, we have a lot of different cards. We have our number cards. If I draw a number card, then that's going to tell me which number of book in that genre to pull for my TBR. If I draw an ace, that is going to stand for the number 1 since there isn't a card for number 1. So that gives us the numbers 1 through 10. And I have within those 4 different suits selected books that kind of fit that criteria. So I have 10 for each of those on this card. Now you can't see the ones at the bottom because it's a little out of frame, but I do have all of them covered on my TBR card. If I draw a jack, then I need to choose 2 cards and pick 2 books. If I draw a queen, that is a free pick, but it must be the next book in a series. If I draw a king, then I have to draw another card, select the book that fits that criteria, and then swap it with one of the books that I already have in my TBR stack for the month. And finally, if I draw a joker, then I need to draw a card, discard that one, and then the next card I draw will be what I pick for my TBR. And I know that's quite a few rules, so why don't we just start playing and then we'll see how the game goes from there. Now I think what I'm going to do for the August TBR is do 5 books to put on the TBR. Now the only reason that would change is if I get like a jack and have to do a double pick, then that would put 6 books on the TBR. So I think I want to keep it at 5 because I also have some other books I want to allow some room for mood reading, and I also want to allow some room for some other book videos that I'm going to be filming with different books besides the ones that I'm choosing for my TBR. Okay, so here we go. I have a deck of cards here. I have shuffled these a lot of times before starting this game, but let's just do one more shuffle just to be on the safe side. All right, so here we go. We're gonna draw the very first one, and the first card that we have is a 3 of hearts. All right, so 3 of hearts. Hearts is contemporary, literary fiction, or classic, something like that. Now on the book cart, I have those starting right here with this Karen Kingsbury book. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and that is The Waterkeeper by Charles Martin. So this is going to be the first book that we add onto the TBR for August. And I'm actually really excited that this is one of the books going on the TBR for August because I have been wanting to read this for a while. Back a couple of months ago, I read the prologue on like one of those free Kindle downloads, and it was like, wow, this book is going to be interesting. I really want to read it. So I'm excited that one happened to be one of the first ones that I pulled. That is fantastic. All right, so we're going to draw another one. What we have next is a jack. Now, if you remember, with a jack, I have to draw 2 more cards, and whatever those are books that go on the TBR. I'm really glad that I said I was going to do 5 because we're already up to 6. If I get another one, that's going to put me at 7. So, glad I did that. Okay, number 1 is a 3 of spades. So, 3 of spades. Spades is mystery, suspense, thriller. And those are down here on the bottom of the book cart, which you can't really see, but they start at the bottom. So, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and see if I can get this out. So, this is Truth-Stained Lies by Terry Blackstock. This is the first book in the Moonlighter series, and I've heard really good things about it. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it looks really interesting. It says Kathy Kramer is a former lawyer and investigative blogger who writes commentary on high-profile homicides. When she finds a threatening note warning her that she's about to experience the same kind of judgment and speculation that she dishes out in her blog, Kathy writes it off as mischief, until her brother's wife is murdered and all the facts in quotes, point to him. All right, so that's book 2 on the August TBR, and now we get to move on to the next one. I'm going to draw another card, and we've got 2 of spades. Spades right next to each other. Okay, So 1, 2, that is Double Indemnity by Robert Whitlow. This is interesting because I actually almost pulled this last month for my TBR. I've never read Robert Whitlow and have been very curious about his book, so I'm very excited. I, again, don't know a whole lot about this other than what's on the back, but it says someone stands to gain millions of dollars from a hunter's accidental death, unless that death wasn't an accident. The fact that it says double indemnity, I mean, indemnification, that's something that you see in contracting language and stuff, so I'm really wondering what all is going to happen in this book. But yeah, I've heard really good things about Robert Whitlow. I'm excited to dive into his novels and see what I think. It's even got a blurb on the front from Colleen Coble, who writes a lot of mystery suspense, so that's cool. All right, so we've got kind of like a literary novel. It's got a little bit of mystery, I think, woven in, and then 2 mystery thrillers. Hopefully we'll get like some fantasy or some historicals or some other things too, because we're already up to 3 books. Though, that just satisfied the Jack. So technically I've only drawn 2 cards, but I have 3 books because of the Jack that I drew. All right, so now we're moving on to our third draw, which is a 6 of Puppy Feet. Puppy Feet is historical fiction, which my historical fiction starts with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is Why the City Sleeps by Elizabeth Camden. I have read one other book by her. Actually, it was on last month's TBR and it was really good. I think I ended up giving it like a 4.5 star or something. But it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. Elizabeth Camden is a fantastic author. Her character development and the story, like, I was so drawn in to the book that I read last month. I'm very excited about this. This is part of the Women of Midtown series. I believe it's the first one in the series. And it says, Katherine Schneider's life as a dentist in 1913 New York is upended when a patient reveals details of a deadly plot while under the influence of laughing gas. As she is plunged into danger, she seeks help from the dashing Lieutenant Jonathan Birch, a police officer she has long admired from afar. And then it kind of goes into a little bit more about the book. It looks like there's some kind of criminal conspiracy going on set in this historical setting. So that looks really good. Like I said, I really enjoyed Elizabeth Camden's book from last month, and I'm excited to read another by her. Okay, so now we're up to number 4. Let's see what our 4th card is. 8 of Hearts. All right, so another heart. That is once again from our contemporary literary classics section. And since we have pulled a book from a slot within here, I'm going to just stick with the numbers that the books had previously. So it'd be 1, 2, 3 is the Charles Martin book that we took. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that puts us with Irene Hannon, Hope Harbor. Now, this is the first book in a pretty lengthy series by Irene Hannon. I have read her mystery thrillers, but I've never read her contemporaries. But I've heard amazing, amazing things about this series, and I'm excited to start this book. This has a little bit of a summer feel, just looking at the cover with the water, and she has a bicycle, and it looks kind of summery to me, or at least late summer, something like that. And that's perfect because we are still in summer. We're in August. That's really going to fit the feel of the season. But yeah, I don't even remember how many books are in this series. It's quite a number, but again, I've heard great things and I'm excited to give it a try. And that brings us to the last card that we're going to draw today. I'm kind of sad I can't draw like a bunch more cards because there's no way I'd be able to read everything, but this is a really fun game. I definitely want to do this again sometime. All right, here we go. Last one. Draw this card and we have a King of Diamonds. Now the King is a book swap. Because I drew the King, I have to draw another card, see what that pulls from the TBR card, and then swap it with one of the books already in my stack. Which is kind of sad because I really like my TBR so far, but let's see. I really would like to get like a fantasy or something. I don't have any fantasy. I haven't drawn any diamonds except for the King just now, which doesn't really help me out. So I am hoping that this next one is a diamond because I really, really want a fantasy. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's Puppy Feet. No fantasy at all. I'm sad. That's okay. Oh, but it's a Jack. I forgot. This is a Jack. I'm not supposed to really look at the suit on this one, but that means I have to draw 2 more books and then swap out one of them? All right, this is getting more complicated. All right. Okay, so the first one is... Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I got that. I finally got a diamond. I get to have a fantasy on my TBR. Yay. Okay, so fantasy's right up here. And it's fantasy, it's like fairy tale retelling and stuff like that. So it's kind of a mix up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Karen Whitmire's Fairest of Heart. Also really funny because I almost picked this for last month's TBR. This one is just, it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to read this book, and I'm not upset with it. I really have been wanting to start this series by her. The book that I'm reading, To Love a Beast, is also by Karen Whitmire, and it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I cannot wait to read this one. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, last card. I have put Fairest of Heart down. We've got one more to do. Let's see what we've got. Ace Diamonds. That's awesome. I got 2 diamonds right at the end. And this one is fairy tale retelling. Let's see what this is now. Ace, if you remember, is number 1 because there is no 1 in the card deck. That one's going to be this one right here. This is Winter's Maiden. And this is by an author named Morgan L. I don't know if it's Bousset. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but this has really good reviews. I'm excited about it. It's the Nordic Wars Book 1. And just look at that cover, y'all. Like, that is really, really pretty. Inside the front cover, it says, Warrior, Survivor, Daughter of the North. From the moment she is born, Brigid fights to survive in the wastelands of Nordica as a clanless one. But when a new power arrives, offering a trial to join the Nordic warriors, Brigid enters, hoping to rise above her station. Soon she becomes one of the fiercest fighters and joins the war against the South. Caden carries the blood of the ancient Eldaron race in his veins, but turns away from his heritage after the death of his parents. Years later, he is called back to his homeland and invited to be a healer for the Southern forces. With the help of an old mentor, the power inside of him starts to awaken. However, his life is turned upside down when a mighty warrior of the Nordic forces is captured. As Caden interacts with the enemy, he discovers there is a darkness behind the Nordic wars, one that is manipulating the people of the North. But who will believe him? And is there a power strong enough to break the hold of this hidden adversary? Or will the world burn in the flames of war? This looks really, really interesting. I'm so excited, and I finally got like a straight fantasy for my TBR for August. But now I have to go back and fulfill The King from earlier, and I'm swapping these 2 books out with something else in my pile. That's very difficult to do. I am not sure what to swap out. Okay. I think I'm going to keep Hope Harbor and While the City Sleeps because it's a contemporary and a historical. I'm going to keep The Waterkeeper because I've been wanting to read that for so long. I think I'm going to swap with either True Stained Lies or Double Indemnity. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. As much as I really want to read this Terry Blackstock book, the first in the Moonlighter series, because I've read some of her other stuff and it's really, really good. I think I'll go with Double Indemnity and keep that one on the TBR because I had it as a selection from last month, so why not pull it in and incorporate it for this month? And that's going to give me both Double Indemnity and Fairest of Heart from last month that didn't quite make it onto the list, but now they can make it for this month. And there we have it, our entire stack of books for August. We did end up with 6 after all. I am really glad that things played out as they did, and the fact that The King had me swap one, it kept me from having 7 on the TBR. But this is going to be super fun. I'm really excited. So again, we have Fairest of Heart, which is kind of a historical fairy tale retelling. We have Double Indemnity, which is more of a mystery thriller. Hope Harbor, a contemporary romance. Winter's Maiden, a fantasy. The Waterkeeper, which I guess is more literary fiction / mystery. It's kind of hard for me to know exactly how to classify this one, but it's contemporary literary fiction. I think it kind of falls a little more in that area. And While the City Sleeps, a historical fiction. This is a fantastic list. I am so super excited to get to read these. It's going to be a really fun time. And again, that was also a really fun way to pick the TBR. I will have to bring cards back again because that was too fun of a time. And my battery died in literally the last few moments of this video. But anyway, like I was saying, I'm super excited for this TBR, and that was a fun way to select it. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here, but thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate you all so very much. And as always, remember to keep following your dreams and believing in the magic of this thing called life. Thank you so much for watching. and I'll see you again soon.